Hey everybody, welcome back to Mojitsu, and for those of you who are new here, my name is Mojo Perry and this is my new vlog. I just want to say welcome to the subscribers, new subscribers, everybody from Rumble, new service I'm uploading to. You can find me under Mojo Perry, so drop in and say hello, we'll get a thing going. And as well as anybody who's fallen into this video today, I hope that you subscribe and stick around for this whole story. So we just wanted to, as promised, to give you a post-biopsy update. I woke up this morning hungry because I really haven't been eating in general. Like, it's been a challenge to get anything down because there's been a lot of pain involved when I do eat. Because the mass that I have on my pancreas is obstructing the gallbladder as well as the pancreatic bile, as with the B, bile ducts. And that's what you use to break your food down in your stomach, right, through the intestines and things, and, your digestion. So without it, you run into lots of problems. So the thing is about when the bile ducts get blocked, they kind of back up, and so your urine will become super dark. And also, the bile itself is what makes your poop dark, I guess. So you can kind of know if you have pancreatic problems if you're starting to see lots and lots of stale poop and, your urine becomes really dark. So that's one of the wake-up calls that you can see, and that'll happen very sporadically in the beginning, and then that will increase. Like now I see it a lot, but that's because things kind of caught up to me. There's been, this has probably been going on for a couple of years and I didn't know it. So, I arrived at the hospital around 9, a little bit before 9, and took some right time to find the right desk. They kept sending me to the wrong desk. Finally, someone came and got me in a wheelchair and wheeled me to where we had to go because, we had new people and everything, so everybody was giving me the wrong location. So by the time that I found the promised land, they were eager to get going, and they did. So first thing they did is they put a IV in on my hand, and they used that to draw blood, to do some testing right away. They also did my blood sugar to make sure that I was safe, for the procedure. Going under is a serious thing, right? And then they gave me antibiotics and fentanyl through the vein. And let me tell you, I'm not sure what they did while I was on that table. Like, eventually I got all prepped. Then they made me remove my boxers because apparently I was going to be buck ass to everybody while I was going through that procedure with the throat. I'm guessing they probably had me like this and down because my throat is still sore. And then the interesting thing was before, the anesthesiologist came in. He was cool, younger guy, cool. I enjoyed talking to him. Level-headed cat, answered all my questions, gave me lots of information, felt safe. Then the surgeon came in, and this guy was cool. He, that dude, that little kid that from I see dead people, the Sixth Sense. He looks like that guy as an adult. Like, if you ever seen pictures of that actor as an adult, that's exactly what my surgeon kind of looked like with that hair and everything. Kind of cool guy, super nice. And he said that, I only see on here to take a tissue sample. I don't see anything about addressing that problem down there. So, and then he basically talked to me about having a stent put in, which would allow the bile ducts to do their job, like put fluid into my intestines. I mean, that's really important, those bile ducts. Where my mass is located is right next to where the gallbladder bile, that's with the B, bile duct, from both the gallbladder and the pancreatic bile ducts merge. And that concoction goes into your intestines, right? So my mass is blocking that, causing me pain, and it's freaking wretched. So, long story short, I think he was pitching me about putting that stent in, and I gladly accepted. So I didn't even notice it until tonight, just to give a positive report. that I actually, you know, I'm feeling down, depressed, and we'll get back to that in a minute. So I ordered Chinese, even though I was told to just eat broth and stuff today. I was like, well, if I got pancreatic cancer, you know, fuck it. You know, I'm going to order some Chinese food. And I rented a movie I wanted to see. So I dropped, you know, like a good $60 on myself in comfort to enjoy a movie and some Chinese food, you know, for both me and my roommate. And I had support today. You know what I mean? People went with me to be in my corner. You know, just so I felt good that somebody was there. That meant so much to me. I mean, in a situation like this, positivity, support, and love really speaks volumes. And the best way that people have been doing that with me in my case, and I am so grateful and humbled, is they've been demonstrating it with various things, sending emails, texting, calls. My friends had beefed things up. And, you know, it's just been, it's kind of sad this is happening, but that's a blessing to experience that and to see it. And that sure touches a guy's heart. Now, why was I depressed? Well, next thing you know, I'm coming out of the procedure. I'm coming to light. You know, I left my eyes closed, but I was very aware of who was around me, their names, and I would peek out now and again. And I was in a lot of pain, so they would give me Dilaudid. They'd ask me about the pain. Then there's time that passes. How's the pain now? Then boom, they give me another one. Then finally, how's the pain? Boom, they give me another one. So I had comfort and stuff like that. But this is where it gets strange. Once you're like come to, you know, the surgeon comes in and talks to you. And beforehand, I had said that while you're in there, please take some time to look around and get an assessment. Like, because he's there visually, he can look at it. I want to know what's going on. Information. And so when I come to, you know, I'm there, he comes in, he sits down, and he's like this on the bed. And I tell you, I got the impression that that man wanted to talk to me, give me bad news, but then he backed out. And he fell back on the, well, let's wait for the results. It'll be about 2 to 5 days. And, you know, to be honest with you, I noticed it, but I didn't question it. I did ask questions like, you see a lot, right? How did I compare? Very nonchalant way. And his answer was, I forget what the exact word that he used. I want to say something like I'm alarmed, or I'm, it's troubling. Something like that. You know, like the impression I got was that it was much worse, and he was just kind of evading the issue with a semi-serious word on a very serious subject. And so my prediction of getting bad news, I think, is coming true. But here's the thing, I got more information. I did ask. I was not instructed as to what treatment would be one way or the other. Cancer, non-cancer. And then he goes, well, they go in there and this is the impression I got. They put a chemo thing in there, and the idea of that is to shrink the mass, and then they go in there, you know, with like a jackhammer or whatever, and they hack that thing out. That's the impression I got. But it could be to just kill the mass and have it disappear. I don't know. Houdini. I haven't been instructed like officially yet, but at least that's more knowledge than I've had in a long time. But here's the other thing that made me kind of very alarmed. You see, my doctor, my family doctor, the guy who's at the helm of all this, he's been somewhat of a challenge, right, with the pain medication and stuff because of my history background in with addiction and stuff like that. So, and people are very funny about that, especially doctors. I think some of it is a liability issue, and other things are. I used to think it was a judgment thing with him, but actually, the more that I've been around it now, because it's been an issue for a while, I think it's more about that he suffered something somewhere with somebody important to him, maybe a mother, I don't know, mother, father, brother, someone important to him, girlfriend or something, and he was affected by it, and so he has a bitterness towards it. That's kind of what I'm gathering. But the thing is, this stuff, has to be worked through. My situation is a little different than other millions of people who went through what I went through in America's opioid epidemic. So it's important to me to share, because knowledge is power, right? So you guys learn about the struggles and the fact that it's there. And one of the strongest tools I've used to navigate through this has to become clinical. Like, even though I was in pain, I was suffering at times, and you want to get angry. I didn't. You want to demonstrate frustration. I didn't. Even though you think it's not a bright call, right? I didn't say that. What I did say was that our current pain management plan is non-effective. And these things have been going on since January 6th. I've been communicating it to you. I think the time to take a soft, cautious, gentle approach toward this came and went months ago, and asked him nicely if he could try to come up with a more aggressive and swift pain management plan. And then I later reported that if he was going to be squeamish about this, then what we need to do is to get a pain medication specialist involved now. Not end of April, not end of May, but now, because my situation is now, and I can't get caught in the middle of everybody being squeamish about this. I have a situation, we need to address this. But I was firm, I was calm, but I was clinical. And I used ChatGPT to help me rewrite my letters, so I came off as very matter of fact and thorough. You can ask it to make it sound clinical and medical, and it'll help you do that. And you express yourself, and that proved to be very successful in communicating what was going on in a way that he could better understand. And communication is key, right? So now, as I move forward, I want to thank everybody for their continuing love and support. It truly has been overwhelming. You sure know how to humble a dude, man. I'm genuinely humbled by all of this. And with the challenges coming on, I feel kind of sad, I'm not going to lie. But I'm not frightened. I'm not upset because something this bad is happening. I'm not bitter about it. I'm not frightened that I could possibly die, or that this is a serious situation. My mortality is, definitely, under the microscope. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of the great beyond. We all, I think if we search our hearts, none of us are really afraid of it, right? Especially when you get older, you come to understand it. And I've had enough near misses in my life to know what it's like to face my mortality legitimately, right? And so as I move forward through this, what I really just want to be is comfortable, and to be able to have somewhat as a normal life as possible while I go through whatever it is I have to go through. If that means that I have to, suffer, go through a bunch of cancer shit and then die early in life, then so be it. But I want to be comfortable, and I want to have as much of a normal life to where I can create and be close to the people who are important to me, the people that I love, and I know that they care about me as well. And which leads me to my final point here. Brothers and sisters, all of you out there, I'm just going to tell you some things. I've come recently to the decision that I was just going to let go any anger or hatred that I had for people in my life, like that have wronged me. And even though every single one of those people I could count on one hand, right, 3 or 4 people, they deserve my anger, they deserve my hatred, they deserve the disdain and how I speak of them and everything else. They deserve it. They did it, and they were a piece of shit and scum in the process. But I'm not going to carry that anger in my heart anymore. Why? Because life is short. And just as somebody who got this news, like, not even 2 weeks ago, right? That's how quick it happens. And until one day you realize that you're running out of time. Do you really want to waste your time on people like that? I would guess that you feel the same as me, is no. And so I'm encouraging you to do the same in your life. Let go of the things that the people who have hurt you. Just let it go. They're scum, right? The people that do things like that to other people, they're scum. Agreed. No arguments from anybody. Even the scum themselves, they know they're scum. You owe it to yourself. And take that energy and put it into the people that you do love. And let them know that you love them. Express that you care. Try to be the best person you can be. And then when you get the news like I did, and that it potentially could be very serious and bad, and it's starting to look that way, right? You have a clean conscience. You lived your life with conviction. You are happy. You made something of yourself as best as you could, even if it was just to scrape by. And that's what we all can do, right? And you face it head on, be the best person you can be. And that is an honorable death. That is an honorable life. That is something to be proud of. The people who run around hurting all kinds of people and they have a trail of victims and blah, 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 that's not problems. That's just a person, an asshole, a bad person. Scum. So that's not you. Try to be the best version of yourself that you can while you're here, because life is short. And I'm going to let you go. I'm not sad. I'm not, I guess that's not true. I am kind of sad. I'm exhausted from dealing with this. But hopefully I'll start to get some sleep with this new stent. And it may hurt for a while on the inside. It may cause me to be sore, but that's okay. I'm told eventually that should pass. And it's still better than that constant. The way that the pain on the inside felt, folks, is how you take a towel and you wring it if it's wet and you just wring it. That's what was going on in my stomach, except it would go like this, super tight, then go back tight, like that. And kind of like if you've ever had like a charcoal grill and it's all cherry red and you just got done eating and wind blows on it so it gets bright and soft. That's what's going on my inside. So hopefully that's been significantly dented, and I'm grateful for all of this. Every single bit of it, no matter what it is, even if I lose my life in the process here, I'm still grateful because it is God's will. It's His decision. My life is His. I'm His. And He got me through addiction. He got me through everything. How many get out of jail free cards does a guy get? And I need to be accountable for my fair share. I can't just walk away skimming by from everything. I don't expect that, and I don't want it. And I'm just going to, like I always said, be and do the best that I can to be my best version, especially now. And with that, I will see you after I get the actual verdict, and then we'll be able to have different kinds of talks. Thank you for hanging out with me, and have a wonderful night or day whenever you get this. Bye.